Syria's army says it has completed a security sweep of a Kurdish majority neighbourhood in the northern city of Aleppo. A convoy of law enforcement vehicles was seen entering the area on Saturday, but Kurdish fighters say any reports that the government controls the neighbourhood are false and misleading. There are reports of continued gunfire. Smoke has been seen rising across the district. Both the government and Kurdish forces have traded blame over who started the fighting this week, in which 20 people have died. Journalist Wladimir van Wilgenburg is based in the Kurdistan region of Iraq. What's happening now in this Kurdish neighbourhood in Aleppo in Syria?
So basically there have been fighting since Tuesday between Kurdish forces and the Syrian government. They have failed to reach any agreement on a safe evacuation of Kurdish fighters from the area. Yesterday, there was a proposal by a Kurdish official to evacuate Kurdish fighters and to keep a local administration in place. But Damascus now wants a full surrender, and Damascus forces now have surrounded a hospital full of civilians in a Kurdish neighborhood of Aleppo. And there are still clashes going on despite international attempts to reach a ceasefire and stop the fighting.
How did it come to this?
Well, there have been attempts to reach an integration agreement between the Kurdish forces and the Syrian government to basically integrate the autonomous administration they have into basically the Syrian administration. But so far, these talks have failed. The last talks, they took place on January with U.S. mediation. And so far, it ended up now basically in a big fight between Damascus and the Kurdish forces. And also this agreement that was supposed to be implemented from March between Damascus and the Kurds, it was supposed to be implemented at the end of last year. So now we are in a conflict situation.
Okay, and we're now getting reports that Kurdish forces are blaming the attacks by Syrian forces in Aleppo partly on Turkey, with Turkish support.
Yeah, there's like very strong relations after the fall of the Assad regime between the new Syrian government and the current Turkish government. And the Kurds, they suspect that Turkey plays a role in pushing Damascus to attack the Kurds because Turkey, they don't want to have a Kurdish-controlled statelet on its border. So that's the suspicion of the Kurds, that basically Turkey is helping Damascus with drones.
So what's this all mean moving forward for Syria's future?
Well, what it means that most likely, I mean, there's still some fighting going on now around this hospital. And we have to see if there will be now attempts to reach a new agreement between the Kurds and Damascus. But if that doesn't happen, and international efforts by the US and Germany and France and other countries to do that, to go back to the negotiation table, probably it will end up in more fighting in other areas that are under Kurdish control, like, for instance, in northeast Syria.
And the EU's just pledged over 600 million euros in aid and reconstruction funds this year and next. Will that money end up in the right hands?
Well, I mean, that remains to be seen. I mean, until now, still a lot of areas in Syria are destroyed from the war. Many hospitals and schools are not functional. So Syria really needs a lot of money to rebuild those schools and hospitals. But of course, if it will end up in the right hands, you never know. That's why Europe, they have monitors to monitor these kind of funds. But we have to see where it will end up.
Journalist Wladimir van Wilgenburg, thank you very much for your time.